Look, we all knew the team behind the twisted childhood universe was out for blood when they turned Winnie the Pooh into a slasher villain. But Pinocchio, Unstrung, man, they just took things to an entirely new level. If you thought this was just going to be a quick, silly horror flick about a killer wooden doll chasing high schoolers around with an axe, well, you weren't entirely wrong. But that final act shift, it completely changes the game for this entire movie universe. Hey everyone, welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we are diving deep into the bonkers ending and that wild post-credit scene of Pinocchio, Unstrung. We're going to break down the massive Geppetto twist, what that growing nose actually means for the future, and how a sneaky little cricket is setting up the ultimate horror crossover event, Poohniverse. Monsters assemble. So, grab your popcorn, hit that subscribe button if you love all things twisted, and let's unpack this beautiful nightmare. The twist, Geppetto's secret laboratory. Okay, so let's set the stage. For most of the movie, Unstrung plays out kind of like a gory mashup of Chucky and M3GAN. You've got poor James, this grieving kid who lost his parents and his best friend Zach in a super short window of time. His grandfather, Geppetto, played by absolute horror legend Richard Brake, carves him a wooden puppet named Pinocchio to help him cope. And at first, James is surprisingly cool with the fact that his new wooden buddy is sentient and walking around on his own. I mean, if a puppet started talking to me, I'd probably run for the hills. But James? He's just happy to have a friend. Pinocchio quickly becomes hyperfixated on protecting James. But thanks to some terrible advice from Cricket, voiced by Robert Englund, which is just pitch-perfect casting, Pinocchio learns that the best way to protect James is to violently eliminate anyone who makes James upset. Bullies, annoying neighbors, you name it. On top of that, Pinocchio realizes he wants to become a real boy, so he starts harvesting, let's just say organic spare parts from his victims to build a real human body. Gross, right? The Geppetto reveal. Here's the crazy part, though. Just when you think you've got this movie figured out as a straightforward slasher, the third act pulls a complete switcheroo. James, Mia, and Dudley end up digging into Pinocchio's origins, and they find a bunch of old VHS tapes, video diaries, and who's on them? Geppetto. Now, in every classic fairy tale, Geppetto is this sweet, lonely old woodcarver praying to a wishing star. But in this universe, Geppetto is a straight-up mad scientist. He didn't just carve a puppet out of love. He was experimenting with a magical, mystical tree. The videotapes show a chilling catalog of all his failed wooden creations over the years. And whenever one of his children didn't behave or turned out defective, Geppetto didn't just put them in a box. He brutally destroyed or tortured them. Flipping Geppetto from a loving father figure into the true villain of the story is absolute genius. It takes the blame off the puppet for a second and forces us to ask, who is the actual monster here? The sacrifice and goodbye God. So, how did Pinocchio actually come to life in the first place? Well, while the kids are watching these tapes, Geppetto tracks down Pinocchio, brings him back to the lab, and drops a massive truth bomb. Geppetto reveals that Pinocchio was grown from the magical tree using the buried corpse of James' dead friend, Zach. Yeah, the idea is that the magical tree acts like a conduit. It pulls the soul from a human body into its roots, transferring that life essence into the wood. So, in a twisted, cosmic way, Pinocchio actually is a rebirth of Zach. But Geppetto isn't having a proud dad moment here. He knows Pinocchio's bloody trail is going to lead the police right to his doorstep. So, he decides it's time to destroy his latest creation and erase the evidence. Luckily, James and Mia rush in to stop him. A crazy, chaotic fight breaks out. Poor Dudley gets brutally dispatched by Geppetto. And just when it looks like Geppetto is about to kill James and Mia too, Pinocchio walks through the door, holding a shotgun. Let me show you what I mean by how epic this gets. Geppetto looks at Pinocchio and starts screaming at him, saying Pinocchio can't shoot him because he's his creator. He literally says, "I am your father. I am your god." And Pinocchio, channeling his inner 80s action star, looks right at him and simply says, "Goodbye, God." Boom! He blasts Geppetto. Suddenly, all of Geppetto's other failed, mutilated wooden experiments break free from their cages, impale Geppetto's body, and knock over kerosene lamps, setting the entire workshop ablaze. James, Mia, and Pinocchio barely escape with their lives as the house burns to the ground. Am I bad? The nose knows. Now, this brings us to the actual climax of the movie, and honestly, This is where things get really disturbing psychologically. The house is burning, the dust is settling, and the three survivors share this super weird, eerily casual heart-to-heart talk. You'd think James and Mia would be utterly traumatized that their wooden friend just slaughtered a dozen people, right? But instead, they just kind of brush it off. Pinocchio looks up at Mia with those big, innocent-looking wooden eyes and asks, "Am I bad?" Mia looks at him and says, "You were just confused." Then Pinocchio giggles and goes, "I'm such a rascal, aren't I?" And they all laugh, like it's a sitcom tag at the end of an episode. James even tries to justify it, saying everyone Pinocchio killed pretty much deserved it, except maybe the dentist. And when James jokes about needing a new dentist, Pinocchio quips that he'll just go kill the next dentist, too. They laugh it off again as a joke. But is it? As James and Mia start walking away into the night, having swore to keep Pinocchio's secrets forever, Pinocchio lags behind for a second. He looks at the ashes and mutters to himself, "I didn't enjoy having to kill those people." Pinocchio's nose growing, and right on cue, his wooden nose grows an inch. Chills. That single detail is brilliant. Everyone knows the rule of Pinocchio. His nose only grows when he tells a lie. By having his nose grow right after he says he didn't enjoy killing, the movie confirms the terrifying truth. Pinocchio loved every single second of the slaughter. He isn't just a confused puppet following orders. He's a full-blown, sadistic killer who gets a thrill out of bloodlust. So why does this actually matter? Because as we head into future movies, Pinocchio isn't just some misunderstood creature. He's an active threat who knows how to manipulate human emotion to get away with murder. Post-credits, from Roots come Resurrection. Now, if you stuck around through the credits, and if you're a fan of these cinematic universes, you know you always stick around through the credits. We get a post-credits scene that changes everything for the upcoming Poohniverse crossover. We cut back to the burned-out ruins of Geppetto's workshop. The fire is out, smoke is rising, and lying against the scorched trunk of the magical tree is the mangled body of Geppetto. Suddenly, out from the rubble crawls Cricket. Pinocchio smacked him with a hammer earlier in the film, but this creepy little bug survived. He scurries over to Geppetto's body, looks at the tree, and says, "I might be small, but I have big plans for this one." Cricket then starts dragging cables and vine-like roots, physically binding Geppetto's corpse directly into the heart of the magic tree, chanting, "From roots come resurrection." Geppetto's rebirth. Let's connect the dots here. Earlier in the movie, we learned that putting a body into the tree transfers the soul into the wood, creating a living puppet. Cricket is literally using Geppetto's own dark science against him. He is turning Geppetto into a wooden monster. And this time, Cricket is going to be the puppet master pulling the strings. Think about how terrifying that is. Geppetto was already a ruthless, brilliant mad scientist when he was just a fragile old man. Imagine him reborn as an immortal, wooden monstrosity filled with pure vengeance against Pinocchio. And there's one more huge teaser to unpack. During a recent Q&A, director Reese Waterfield dropped a subtle hint. In the final act, Geppetto mentions that he didn't discover the magical tree on his own. He was taught about its powers by a mysterious doctor. Who is this doctor? Is there a master architect pulling the strings behind Pooh, Peter Pan, Bambi, and Pinocchio? It sure looks like someone is actively building an army of childhood nightmares. Our nerdy thoughts. So, to sum it all up, Pinocchio is out in the world, completely unchecked, pretending to be a reformed rascal while secretly loving the thrill of the kill. Meanwhile, Cricket is building a resurrected, wooden Frankenstein version of Geppetto to hunt him down, all while a mysterious doctor operates in the shadows. It is absolute, glorious chaos, and honestly, I kind of love where this trashy, violent horror universe is going. But what about you guys? What did you think of the ending of Pinocchio, Unstrung? Do you think Pinocchio will be a hero or a villain when he meets Winnie? The Pooh and Bambi in Monsters Assemble? And who do you think this secret doctor is? Drop your theories in the comments section below. I read as many as I can, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to slap a like on the video, share it with your horror-loving friends, and hit that subscribe button for more movie breakdowns every single week. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and remember, if your toys start talking to you, don't ask questions, just run. Catch you in the next one.
What the heck, I'll laugh anyway.